Hi, Flosstube! Are y'all ready for the great 2017 solar eclipse? As you can see, I'm ready for it. Yep, I snagged my glasses, free pair of glasses at the grocery store, and just to make sure I know what I'm doing, I've even practiced a couple times today. I went outside, located the sun in the sky, looked up at it for a few seconds, and yeah, I think I'm ready. Hi Flosstube, it's Calico here with an update. It's Thursday, August 17th, and I think most kids have probably gone back to school already. Mine don't start until the 23rd, so we have till next Wednesday. Their online school is just starting later than most of the schools around here, but I just sat like an hour in traffic just now, and I think today is the first day back. I don't know. There was a ton of traffic out there, so I'm sure it was like not really a good idea to go driving at 4:30 in the afternoon. But yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that every day. I usually try to avoid those before school and after school times. I mean, if you don't have to be in that traffic, you don't want to be. So anyway, how is everybody doing? I hope that you've been getting a lot of stitching done, and maybe you've been having fun going on vacations and doing fun things, and now that your kids are back in school, maybe that means you'll have more time to stitch. Maybe it doesn't really change for you, I don't know, but I have gotten quite a bit of stitching done. We decided not to go on, I may have said we decided not to go on take a trip this year, so we didn't even get our camper, we didn't even unwinterize it. About a year ago, we had toyed with the idea of heading up to Wyoming, because we're in Colorado, so we were going to head up to Wyoming to see the eclipse. That was kind of an idea we had last year, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be a good idea because everybody is going to be heading to where you can see the full eclipse, and I'm just going to stay at home for that. As a matter of fact, up until I got my eclipse glasses, I wasn't even going to get any eclipse glasses because the last time there was a solar eclipse, I was in, I think, 5th grade. I don't know what year that was, but I feel like from the classroom that I was in 5th grade, and I remember we all made shoe boxes and put the little pinholes in them and watched the eclipse that way. So I was actually just going to do that with my kids, and I was out getting groceries at Natural Grocers, Vitamin Cottage yesterday, and the lady in front of me was getting a pair of eclipse glasses, and I just happened to say, "Oh, do you guys have those here?" And she said, "Oh yeah, we've got about 7 pairs left, but they're going quick, and we can give you a pair if you want for free. You just have to sign this waiver." So I said, "Oh, okay, that'd be cool. My kids will like that." And then, their phone kept ringing. She said, "Yeah, all those phone calls we're getting, everybody's asking us if we have eclipse glasses." So apparently they're really hard to get or expensive, and so I feel lucky that I have a pair. So my boys and I are going to take turns looking up at the eclipse. It's not going to be a full eclipse here in Colorado, and I have to really get more details as to whether or not how much it's going to be and what time it's going to start. So anyway, who knew that it was going to cause all the rage, the whole 2017 eclipse. But you are here for stitching, and I have a few things to show you. Not much. This should be a short update. And we'll start with whips. I'm going to keep looking over that way because that's where I have all my pile of stuff. And probably the one that I worked on most is my Sunlit Fox by Dimensions. And how much did I have done last time? Half his face. And I think I had done this area here. I hadn't started any of the leaves. So this was pretty much the only thing that I worked on. I had a few little projects that I did that were having to do with another craft I was doing that I'll show you, but for the most part, this was what I gave most of my time to since our last video, so I'll show you where I'm at with that. Make sure I'm not showing you the back of it. So hey, let's have an unrolling of it. as you will see, look what I did wrong. Okay, it's not real wrong except for the fact that look at how close I am to the bottom. It's not that bad. But yeah, I was up here stitching and then I thought, wow, did I start too low? Because I mean, look at all the headroom he has up here. I mean, there's nothing else stitched up here, so this probably should have gone up probably to there. So yeah, it was a little close call. That's probably the main reason why I went ahead and worked on the leaves, is because I had to find out where that bottom corner was going to fall. Sorry, let me fold this. Let's hold it like that so you can, I had it curled up. Curled up to store so that I didn't have to fold it, because I did put this away. I'm not going to work on it. There. That pretty much shows where it's at. So yeah, anyway, I have room there. That's enough. But I was worried because I thought, oh no, what if I miscalculated where I started? Because lately I haven't been starting my projects in the center. I start up in the corner, but this one doesn't really have an upper corner, so I thought, oh, I don't want to mess up, so I'll start in the middle. Well, yeah, I almost did make a grave mistake there, but I have backstitched pretty much up, where I could up to this point, and so I'm going to put Sunlit Fox away for a while and work on something else. I didn't really feel like stopping working on this. I was still enjoying it for the few colors that it has, and this is all half stitches back here. You know how dimensions are. They use multiple thicknesses of thread, and yeah, we're not going to get too close at that. I don't want you examining that too close, because my stitches really don't look all that great with my half stitches, but they're leaves. I don't care. I don't care that my stitches don't look all that great. So, but his eye, that's my favorite part, and that looks good. So, okay, that's all I worked on with that. And I'm going to put that away. I did one real small new start because my kids were going to go to the water park near us for a day, and I wanted to bring some stitching, but I didn't want to bring anything really big, and at the last minute I didn't really have anything packed up to go. So what do when you don't have anything packed up and ready to go is you grab a kit. And so I grabbed a Mill Hill kit, one of my buttons and beads, because it had everything in it. It had the needle and paper and everything. Yeah, probably not a good idea bringing perforated paper to a pool, especially because I was sitting close to where I could get splashed, but that's okay. I didn't end up doing a whole lot of stitching on that because I forgot one thing about these is you have to sort all the floss, which I love sorting floss. I think it's fun. I found myself a little spot in the shade and spread out all my floss and just looked through all my little colors and sorted it. And by late in the day, I got this done right there. So, gave me something to do. It was fun. I'm not a big water park person. I don't do those slides and things like that. I used to. And really, I'd have to say the only reason, I mean, I probably would like doing those. It's just I have a bad back. And when I look at people going down those slides or riding those roller coasters, it just makes my back hurt. I just think, oh God, I'll just destroy my back if I do something like that. So I enjoy watching my kids do those slides. And yeah, so that's not all there is to say about that. I did get another new start. When did I start this? Yeah, 2 or 3 days ago? Not that long ago, but the last time I was made a video, there was a pattern in this magazine, The World of Cross Stitching, and this is their latest issue. I can never find which issues they are on this. What does it say? Well, it's whichever one this is. It's the one that's out right now. But there is a, I was watching, in my last video, I told you I was watching Laura. Hi Laura at Messy Situation, and she showed a pattern of an owl that I said, oh, I have to have. So let me find it here. Looking through. Should have had it bookmarked because I've already made a working copy of it, but it was this owl right here. and it's called, it's Beaded Owl, Fabulous Feathers, and the designer's name is Shannon, and Waselife. I do not know how to say her name, but it is gorgeous. It has beads and Krennic, which I substituted out for Petite Treasure Braid, and this is the one that I started. And I'm doing a stitch along with Laura. She has not started hers yet, and as a matter of fact, we were both going to start them, I think, at the beginning of August, and it was kind of approaching the middle of August, and I just wasn't quite in the mood to start it, and I know she's working on some other things too, so it's a very relaxed stitch along. We're just going to kind of do it together whenever we can do it, so no pressure, Laura. No, I mean that really, no pressure, especially after you start this. Oh, goodness. I am such a wimp when it comes to tedious cross-stitching. I pretty much darn near gave up on this before I even started. You know how it is, you look at a pattern and you're like, oh yeah, that looks easy, you know. Yeah, there's some back stitching, but it looks pretty straightforward. And oh yeah, you know, the beads, everything looks straightforward. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll kit that up and do it. So I decided to start this at, I don't know, it was one weeknight last week. It was probably 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I'm a morning person, so that tells you right then and there. Those aren't my best hours to be starting something. And so I get my fabric, and I start looking at it, and I start pulling a few floss, and then I realize how tedious this actually is once I look at it. Once I look at what's actually involved in this, I'm going to show you just a close-up of course, I ended up starting right at probably the most tedious spot of all is the forehead. Let me see if I can turn on a better light here. Hold on, excuse me for a second. Let me turn that really bright. Well, anyway, this little part in this forehead up here, it's got, wow, I'm like really in the spotlight here. We don't need to see my face that bright. There's like these little diamonds, and in the diamonds there's some Krennic, and each one of those little diamonds has 3 or 4 different colors of floss, and a lot of them only have like 1 stitch or like a stitch and a fractional stitch. That isn't, you know me guys, I don't do tedious stuff like that. So I started this, and I had only put in a few stitches, and I was like ready to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm giving up on this. And I thought, well, let me just stick with it and go a little bit farther with it and see how we do. And then I was on a mission to get all those diamonds done, and I thought, okay, I'm going to stop and do the eyes. And so, needless to say, I did get the whole head done. But when I was doing fractional stitches in the past, I've always done, when it shows like a fractional stitch, I do just a 1/4 stitch. That's what I've always done in the past, especially if there's going to be, you know, back stitching that's going to then kind of do the cross going, you know, to kind of add it. But I had read somewhere recently about like, you know, a 1/4 stitch versus a 3/4 stitch, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do 3/4 stitches on those. Well, first of all, I decided to do this on 18 count Aida, my favorite that I always use for everything, my Fiddler's Aida, and the pattern calls for 28 count even weave. So already I'm doing it smaller, and then I'm using Aida for these fractional stitches. Well, when I was doing 3/4 stitches up at the top, they ended up being really bulky, and I didn't really like those, and I misplaced a few of the diamonds and had to redo. I was really not enjoying this project at all, but I persevered and got the head done. So without further ado, I'll show you, because I really love the way it turned out. I just didn't like getting there. So here it is. Let me turn on the bright light again so you can see the sparkle in this baby. Okay, let's see. Oh, sorry, should have. Okay. Yeah, can't really see. Okay, can you kind of see some of the sparkling in that? It's not really showing it. That kind of looks good. But you can see there's a lot going on there. Yeah. One of these days I'll graduate to a chatelaine or something, guys, but right now I can't tell if that's focusing or not, but I'd love to get a close-up of it so you could just see. So, you know, there's a lot going on there. There's like these little, you know, individual diamonds here that each have like the gold krennic on the top and, you know, the gold beads there. And then there's some back stitching with some gold here. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll take a close-up picture of it for Instagram. Excuse me. Turn that down again. That actually kind of looks good too. But I'll take a close-up picture of it for Instagram so that you can see. But it's really cute. And the fact that I did all this really in, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. It was tedious, but sometimes when I start something like this, I just go gangbusters at it. You know, I'll spend like, you know, 2 or 3 hours in an evening working on it, and I won't take a break, and I'll just be like feverishly saying, I've got to get that done, I've got to get that done, I've got to tackle it. And so then it ends up not being enjoyable. If I just learned how to balance things a little bit, I might enjoy it a little bit more. So, next, that's all the stitching I've done, guys. That's what took up some more of my time. I was making, and you may have seen these on Instagram, I went down a kick of altering some Altoid tins, and I want to give a shout out to who kind of gave me that idea. There's a floss tuber here, and her name is Whimsydasical. I'll link her below. And I'm sorry I can't remember your first name, but guys, she is the one that actually is the one who started the Know Your Needleworker tag way back when. She did Flosstube, and then she took a break from Flosstube for a while, and she's recently made a comeback and I think has 2 videos. But in her most recent video, and I'll link below, she kind of does a weekend vlog where she wants to turn a cross stitch into a little altered Altoid tin for her mom, and she kind of goes through the process of how she goes about and get it. And when she was done, it was just so cute. I'm like, oh, I have to do that, I have to do that. So that was where it first started. And then I got to meet some Colorado Stitchers because we met at our local needlework shop, and we kind of, the Facebook group that I talked about. So if you're a Colorado Stitcher and you haven't joined the Colorado Stitchers Facebook group, I'll put that link below. But a few of us met up and did a little stitching day at the local needlework shop called a Stitching Shop. And there was a lady there that's a regular, and she had a little Altoid tin that somebody had made for her years ago, and it had a little pin cushion on the top, and it was a little on-the-go sewing kit. And I thought, that's right, I was going to make one of those. So I sort of vowed, I said, by the time I go to another stitching day, I'm going to have an altered Altoid tin turned into a sewing kit, an on-the-go sewing kit. So I was on a mission, so I just did all kinds of searching on YouTube for altered art and all different things, and pretty much just used whatever YouTube video I could find on altering Altoid tins, and I'll put a couple links below. But one thing I did, there's a technique. Tara C made a framing video many years ago, yeah, it was probably many years ago, probably a couple years ago, on framing needlework, and she used a technique where she does like a pinning and lacing, and I sort of stole a little bit of the idea that she had, where she frames the needlework on foam core. So I had that idea. Now this has a little dent in it because I was using this one sort of as the mold, but I know that there are those of you that are probably going to want me to do a tutorial on these Altoid tins, and I may, but it will be very time consuming to do that, and I don't want to just leave you hanging, so I thought I would give you some ideas because, you know, I just don't have the kind of time that it takes to make a video for this, because you have to glue things and let them dry. And I will be completely honest here. Those finished projects look nice, but the way I arrived to that point was really haphazard and a mess, and, you know, a lot of trial and error. So I still have not perfected how I would do it, but I guess I should show you what I'm talking about. I know, I'm kind of like that when I watch a floss tuber, they're talking, it's like, well, can we see what you're talking about? So anyway, this is the one that I did. Now you will all recognize this beautiful little cross stitch from my thumbnail, and it was one that I actually had FFO'd once before and put in a frame. but I needed something small to put on the top of my tin, so I took that one out of its frame, and this is what I ended up with. So you can see in the inside there, this is a magnet that you could remove, so you can put it up here if you want, and you can stick your needles in it. So what I did is, if you just take a close look, I don't know if I did this right or if it'll even hold up over the test of time, but I put Mod Podge in there, and I figured out what size I needed here, and this is scrapbooking paper, so Mod Podge, scrapbooking paper, more Mod Podge. I've Mod Podged over these little wooden things that you can buy at the craft store. They're just wooden, you can paint whatever. I Mod Podged some just vintage papers on there. These little jewels right here are these really sticky things you can buy at Hobby Lobby, and this is all in kind of like the scrapbooking area. Just these little gems that come stuck on paper, and they're almost like they have like that gluey, sticky glue stuff on them. They stick really well. I don't know how this will hold the test of time, all this adhesive could be falling off in a year, who knows, I don't know, but for now it was really fun to make. So I just cut strips of scrapbook paper and Mod Podged it to the bottom. I put these little jewels that I got, that I just showed you, they just stick on, and they are like on tight. Okay, and for this top right here, what I did is, so I just took a piece of foam core, and I used kind of the pinning lacing technique that you would use if you were going to frame. So for instance, let me just grab a piece of, well, here's just a piece of fabric. So you basically pretend this is your stitched piece, and it's cut down to size. So what you do, I'll link Tara's video below, because what you do is you take these, there's certain kinds of pins that you use. So you take the pins and you take your needlework. Now I like to back my needlework with a little bit of fusible interfacing, like Vanna has showed too. Not anything padded. You could probably do padded, but I just do it just to kind of keep it, because you don't want the stuffing kind of falling through the holes. But then what you do is you just wrap this around, and you take these pins and you stick them kind of in through the side of the foam core, and you get your stitched piece lined up. And what I ended up doing is I just kind of centered it, and then I just left extra, and I pinned it all the way around, and then I just stuck stuffing in there. I'm telling you, it was not very glamorous what I did, and it was a lot of fiddling and piddling around. But then what you end up doing is, after you get it all pinned in, I actually left the pins in. You can't really see what I'm doing, but you fold that over. Tara shows how to do it. You stick those pins in, and once you get them all to where you want, everything's pinned around. You kind of have to just play with the corners and how you do it, but you get it all, stuck down, and you don't even have to pad it if you don't want. Maybe you don't want padding on the top, and you just want to put a piece of, a stitched piece on there. So what you do when you get that all, folded under, it's kind of bulky, but you take your Altoid tin like this, and then you take your E6000, and I just glued it to the top. Now what'll happen is it won't glue very flat, because you have all this fabric under there, so it's kind of sticking up and kind of bulky. But that's when you get ribbons and bows and everything you can to hide those seams. Make your own twisted cord like I did here. Vanna shows how to make twisted cord. So I did that, just anywhere you need to hide it. I even lined this, there's like some metallic tape that I covered the color of the, and just play. I'm telling you, I didn't know anything about this when I made this, guys. I just went to the scrapbooking store and I found everything I could to glue and stick on. But E6000 is what you need to actually glue it onto the Altoid tin, and that needs to dry for 24 hours. And the downside to that is that stuff is smelly, and it makes your tin smell for like a week, like E6000. But you do that, and then where did I do it? I had, oh yeah, then I found these like little rolls of ribbon here. They're called the Paper Studio. These are like 99 cents, And they come in, you know, all these different kinds of trims. Like this one is lace, and you take that, and so then after you get your, you know, your piece down, then you can just cover it up by wrapping some lace around it, see, to cover it, you know what I mean? And just make sure everything's glued down real tight. Lots of glue, and just play, and it ends up being really cute. Now here's another one that I made that I didn't put a stitched piece on top, so just to show you, this is just, has scrapbook paper on it and lace, and I found these little embroidery hoops at Hobby Lobby. They were in the, over with the cross stitching stuff, and they were like 2 in a pack for 99 cents. And I stitched a little pattern and stuck it on and glued it on and made some twisted cord. I mean, whenever something needs to be covered up, just make some more trim or find an embellishment and stick it on. This one, for some reason, my tin, I think it rusted or something. I don't know, for some reason these little things came loose, and you know, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily need to be attached. I mean, it could just be a tin, but you'll recognize this that I stitched. Did I show you? Oh, I don't think I had that done. I showed it on Instagram, but I had finished this little free pattern from Lynn B, and I'll link that below, and I had stitched, it actually comes with wording that says, my soul is fed with needle and thread, and I had that all stitched on there, but then I decided I wanted to pad it and stick it down in the bottom of this Altoid tin, so I took out the lettering, and it fit perfectly in there, so it's really cute. But I think these are so fun to make, and I intend on making some more. I just don't really have a place where I can keep it all set up, you know. I have to keep taking my stuff down because I have it set up on my kitchen table, so I'm hoping to play around and maybe fine-tune my technique a little more, and then maybe do a tutorial, but I don't know, those tutorials never seem to happen with me. But I think that's about it. I really want to keep this at 30 minutes, so I'll start saying my goodbyes now, because it always takes me a while to say goodbye to you guys. I don't think there's anything else I have to say. There's so many new floss tubers out. That's why I want to keep this for 30 minutes so you can move on to the next floss tuber, because there's so many new ones and good ones out there. And I want to welcome all my subscribers, my new subscribers. I had an influx of subscribers all of a sudden. So I know the Stitching Scientist, Jonna, she's also Black Orchid 1981, I think, on Instagram, and she's at the hospital getting ready to have her baby at any minute now. I'm so excited. I've been stalking her Instagram waiting to see if she's had her baby, which means I have to go do that now and check. But I know she did give me a wonderful shout out. Thank you so much for that, Jonna. And it seemed like I may have gotten another shout out too, because I just got a whole bunch of new subscribers since the last time I talked to you. So thank you so much for coming and stopping by and saying hi. And I'm really enjoying all your videos too, so keep making them. And if I was organized enough, like I always say, I would have a list of shout outs, which I did not make a list on that, and I'm sorry. But there's a lot of people giving the newbies shout outs there, and that's how I hear about them too. So that's all I have to say today, guys. I hope that you all get some stitching in and enjoy the rest of your day. And if you watch that eclipse, don't look at it, right? Don't stare at it unless you have your special glasses. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye. It's me again. I just remembered that I forgot to give you a quick update on me starting to watch The Walking Dead. You'll remember from my last video that I was just starting to watch it, and I was only a few episodes in, and I wasn't liking it yet, and some of the characters were annoying me, but I was going to give it some more time. So I have now completed watching it through season 3. So I can say that I loved season 3. I'm definitely getting more emotionally invested in the program now. So, but yeah, season 3, I really loved it with the governor and that eye patch thing. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to watch it. Just keep continuing to watch. I'm getting ready to watch season 4 now. I have no idea how many seasons are out there. And the characters that were annoying me, some of them have died, and some of them are just starting to grow on me, and I'm starting to like them now. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. So, okay, talk to you later. Bye. Me again. This is what you get when I don't take notes. I completely forgot to tell you about my thrift store find. I went in and didn't find any cross-stitching stuff, but went over and was looking at the frames for some framed pieces, and just when I was about ready to think I didn't find anything, this caught my eye. It's not cross-stitching, and maybe you can tell me what it is. I actually I'll insert a clip after this of a close-up detail of it, but oh my gosh, guys. If you know me, you know how much I love this when I saw it. So yes, it's not cross stitch, it's some type of embroidery, so it's either crewel or like thread painting or something, but I'm going to insert a clip here so you can see the detail of this amazing piece of work, and I paid $4 for it. It was professionally framed, and this was the only thing that was on the back. It's got the name of the framer down here, but this was just attached to the back, and it just is a list of the bird names, kind of showing in order as how they go. So it's kind of like a little cheat sheet of birds. But anyway, this clip that I'm going to put in here will show you more detail of what it is. It's amazing. So anyway, after that, I promise I'm done. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Okay, so here's a close-up of my thrift shop find. So I just wanted to zoom in to see if anybody can tell me. I don't know if this is crewel or thread painting or if those are one and the same, but I just wanted to get a close-up of the details here. I think it's just amazing. I was so excited when I saw this. So it was $3.50, and then you know how they always ask you if you want to round up to the nearest dollar, just to, you know, for the thrift shop. So I did. So $4 I paid for this. And I just think it's amazing. I mean, this person obviously knew what they were doing. And it keeps on going. And so yeah, I mean, it looks like it's in good shape. It doesn't smell like smoke. It doesn't look like it has pet hair on it. No obvious stains that I could see. There's a little bit of warping right here in the matting. A couple of little, let's see, where was it down here? There was a little ding in the matting right there. But other than that, I think it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty excited about it. So, yep, okay, there you go.